So what's in the barn? Well, a couple of Tigers. In this case, a Triumph Tiger 800XC that we'll be talking about on today's episode of Utah ADV. I've been riding Hondas most of my motorcycle riding career, and it wasn't until my spouse and I rented a Triumph Bonneville when we decided to take a tour of the Isle of Man. And it happened to be at the time when the Isle of Man TT was in race preparation. We were there a week before. So we had the opportunity to ride a Triumph Bonneville on the actual circuit for the Isle of Man TT. Yeah, kind of a bucket list thing for us to do. It was pretty amazing to go through and do that ride. But it was also for me an introduction to Triumph. I've always loved the idea of a British motorcycle, and especially loved the idea of the Bonneville. It seemed to embody the whole classic tradition of what a British motorcycle would be. So when I started to look for something beyond my KLR 650 for dual sport riding, I wanted something with the ability to cruise at 80 miles an hour and not tax the engine, something that was smoother than that single cylinder thumper. The first bike I considered was the Triumph Tiger 800XC. And while BMW obviously has saturated the market that's out there, and all the research that I did, the Triumph Tiger stacks right up there in quality and build quality and in rideability, as does the 800 version of the BMW Dual Sport. This particular Tiger is a 2013. I bought it with about 11,000 miles on it. I have 24,000 miles on it now. A lot of that's due to the commute going back and forth between my home here in Bountiful and where I was working at the university down in southern Utah. The bike itself comes in at 454 pounds. I'll put up some more numbers here in our graphic that you can see. I won't go through all these. There are some things here worth considering, though. One is the fact that it has a 21-inch front wheel, and that means it has the ability to mount and go over obstacles that are off-road a lot easier than a wheel that would be the same size as what the rear wheel is at 17 inches. Taking this down Schaefer Canyon in Moab and going through 14 to 16-inch steps of shale going up and down. The bike was flawless, and it handled wonderfully with that larger diameter front wheel on there, and I've appreciated that off-road ever since. So one thing that sets it apart. The other thing that sets it apart is the fact that it's got a 645-watt generator. And when you're on the road and you're charging your electronics, your iPhone, your cameras, your drone, that kind of thing, it's always nice to have a little extra power to go through and make sure that not only are all the components charged, but you're not going to be left with a flat battery when the next time you go to start it up. Since I bought this Triumph, I've gone through and added a few things to it. I've gone through and redone the controls on the handlebars. I have SW Motec handguards on this that replaced the flimsier handguards that didn't have a connection back to the handlebar. I have adjustable levers on both sides, brake lever and the clutch lever, that go through and allow me to adjust the throw basically and the grab of those instruments in my riding, and it's made a big difference. One of the ways that I can appreciate that an accessory is working for me is if I forget about it. It just goes away. It becomes seamless, and that's what this whole setup has done for me as well. I have some aftermarket mirrors on this. These are unbreakable mirrors, they say. They actually break away. These are ram mounts on the handlebars and then up to the mirrors, and so I can collapse them or even take them off, get them out of the way while I'm riding off-road. Another addition are the riding pegs that I have on this. I think they're SW Motec as well. These offer me a wider footprint. They're convertible, so I can take the shock pads off of them and ride on the traction surface of these while I'm off-road. That goes through and connects better to my riding boot. And then when I'm on-road, I can put that rubber insulator back on there and go through and insulate me from the vibration that I'm getting off the bike, which really isn't a lot. The three-cylinder aspect of this, the triple-cylinder aspect of this, goes through and cuts down a lot on vibration without any kind of counterbalancing shafts that way to eliminate what's happening as far as vibration is concerned. In addition to those, I have a set of 37-liter Jiffy Outback Trekker panniers, and these go through and hold all the stuff that I use when I'm out on the road, or when I'm camping, and or the photography or the cooking, everything goes into these panniers. They're indestructible. They're used for all kinds of things. I could take the lid off and use it as a wash basin or a place to catch the parts while I'm working on the motorcycle on the side of the road. Haven't done that yet. But lots of uses. They seem to be bulletproof. I've laid this down a number of times, and the first thing that takes the impact is the panniers when it goes down, and they just keep fighting back. So I'll do an episode as we get into the box. I'll talk about the box itself and its construction and how it fits on the bike. But both of my motorcycles have the Jivvy panniers. I have the 37 liters on the Triumph Tiger, on the 800XC, and then I have the 48 liters on the Explorer here as well. Let's see, I think that's about it. I don't know if I covered the bike. It has ABS at the rear wheel. I can turn that off or on depending on the type of terrain that I'm on that way. It's got a great LED heads-up display. I put a GV quick lock tank bag, a small one. These Triumphs aren't really conducive to a big tank bag because of the way the tank is engineered, and I'll get more into that when I talk about the Explorer and the way I had to go to do a very small tank bag and then do engine guard bags on that to kind of take the accessories that I needed off of the tank itself to go that direction. So I think that's about it here. I'm sure I'll come up with something else that I've forgotten about, but in the meantime, be sure to catch the next episode that's all about then the Triumph 1200 Explorer. As much as these bikes look a lot alike, they're two very different birds, both very capable. The 800 is more capable off-road, and the 1200 is more capable on long stretches. But you know what? They both do their jobs pretty remarkably. So the next episode, we'll talk about the Explorer. Thank you.